right, what is up, takers? This is Ty's Take Today Live. We do this each and every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so much for joining us. We have a extremely packed show for you all tonight. So I'm gonna do a quick rundown like we always do. If you're new to the show, be sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/at It's Ty's Take Today. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well at It's Ty's Take Today. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you never miss out on behind the scenes content, interviews, previous episodes, or we even have what's coming up later on this month and later on into the year. So subscribe, youtube.com/at It's Ty's Take Today. And of course, as always, if you're looking for an article, if you just want to have something to read while you're chilling and vibing, TysTakeToday.com. We try to keep it all simple for you. Everything Ty's Take Today. Also, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, be sure to chime in. You can share your thoughts and your take and perspective. And then throughout the show tonight, we'll be going ahead and sharing some of your thoughts and comments. So if you have any questions for our guests, for myself, or if you just want to let us know where you're watching from, you guys can do that in the comments. All right, so a quick rundown. I've got my phone with my questions. I've got my little notebook, so we stay ready. On tonight's show, we are talking to Tyrik Wynn as our first guest, and then we are going to be talking to music artist Smoov Jugg as well as author Aaron Spencer. So we're going to be diving in and just basically introducing all three of these amazing talents to our audience. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, you guys can be sure to send in your questions in the chat. That being said, I am going to welcome our first guest to the virtual stage. This is Tyrik Wynn. Hey, how's it going?
What it do? How's it
What
going?
up, Zoe? What's up? What is up? Thank you so much for joining us. I know I did a quick little introduction, but I really want to just introduce you, who you are to our audience. And for those that may not be familiar with the work that you do, I know a youngin' in the game like myself, but you are doing some incredible things. So I really want to just take the time out to introduce you to our audience. All right. So Tyrik, I really want to know, what first sparked your interest in journalism and media? And then when did you realize that this was the career path that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, so it actually started when I was 14 years old. So when I was 14, I wrote my first book. It was called Green is a Thing, Money Management for Kids. And it was a book to teach kids about the importance of finance, right? So in the midst of me writing that book, I was invited on different podcasts, radio shows, TV shows, news, all of that good stuff. And so I was on a press tour, right, when I first came out with that. And my mom actually wrote it with me. And so me and her was on a press tour and was going around all these different stations and on these different TV sets and these radio studios. And I'm like, yo, like, I think this is where I need to be. This is where I belong. Cause I always knew when I was young, I was destined for greatness, destined to be on television. And so I was like, man, this is it. Right. And so I remember I tried acting first. Acting didn't really work out because I had a company that tried to scam me. So that didn't work out. You know how it is sometimes. I had this one agency that tried to scam me when I was young. And so I was like, well, let's shift gears a little bit here. And so, I found out about that. My parents was always watching the news every day. So I stayed watching the news with them. And then that's how I fell in love with journalism. Then I went to, then I created my own company, Wynn Productions LLC. In the midst of all of that happened. And then when college came, joined the college news station, Panther Report News. I was one of the anchored there for 3 years. And it was great, man.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit. I know you made history as one of the youngest talent at iHeartRadio's Black Information Network. If my research is correct, at 23 years old, right?
Yeah. So I got to iHeart. So I got to iHeart when I was 22 years old, and then I got my promotion 9 months after I signed on, and then I was 23 when I got signed on the Black Information Network.
Absolutely. And can you tell our audience a little bit more about that experience and what was that like for you having that opportunity to connect with listeners and to be a correspondent and contributor to the Black Information Network?
Man, it was great, man. It was a great experience. I can tell you when I first got to iHeart, period, I remember I had put my Anchor Reporter reel out. I put that out back in March of 2022, right? Okay. So I graduated in May, right? So usually when you graduate, you kind of already want to have something set up. Like you already want to, like when you graduate, all right, I'm gonna be going here, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be full, like what I'm saying. You gonna have some moves ready, right? So my journey didn't kind of like it happened, but it didn't kind of happen the way I imagined it to happen. And so what I mean by that is when I graduated, I did have some opportunities on the table, right? So one, I said I was going to be a full-time entrepreneur. I was going to run my company full-time. And then I also had this opportunity with TV One, right? So the opportunity with TV One was to be a journalist on Fatal Attraction and For My Man. Those are national true crime television shows. Both number one shows on that network, actually. And so I had an opportunity to do that, right? But I didn't necessarily have that journalism tie within there, right? At a television station or at a radio station and stuff. So there was kind of like a hole there and stuff. But of course, I still stayed busy, right? And so I remember my parents, for my graduation gift, my parents bought me a trip to Hawaii, right? And so that trip didn't take place until October. So it was October. I was sitting on the beach, and when I go on vacation and I'm relaxing, man, I ain't checking no emails, phone calls, texts, nothing. I'm relaxing. I'm living a dream, right? And then some told me to check my email, so I checked my email. Then next thing you know, I see in the subject line iHeartRadio news anchor opportunity, and I was like, what? Like what they want with me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, let me answer them back or whatever. And so we had started talking to the email and stuff. And he was like, they're interested in you. We saw your work. We would love for you to come anchor with us. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm out of town. Shoot, I'll fly back tomorrow. I'll wrap this trip up. I can always come back. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, enjoy yourself and stuff. We can do the interview when you get back. So that was the first thing I did when I got back. And so I did the interview. They loved me. And, I started probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And yeah, it was great. So I really had my first day on air was in December 5th, I think was my first day on air. So yeah, man, it was a great experience and definitely a blessing to be there for sure.
Absolutely. I could totally relate because when I turned 18, I'm 28 now. When I turned 18, I was, growing up, always calling the radio stations, making friends with the DJs and everything.
Yeah,
so like a week before my 18th birthday, I got hired in at CBS Radio, now Odyssey, as a board op. So I already know like that being the youngest in the company, being in the studio, being in that element. I know you also attended Georgia State University, correct?
Yeah, GSU.
So can you tell our audience a little bit more about, that leadership role that you had with the NABJ and what that experience was like, and how that kind of helped set the stage to who you are now?
Of course. So when I was at Georgia State, I had a couple of leadership positions there. So one, I was the executive producer and also sports director of the news station, the television news station that was there. And then I was also the president. I served 2 terms as president of the National Association of Black Journalists at Georgia State. And so being in these roles, right, obviously everybody in journalism is looking up to you. You are the person that people come to, they talk to, they see all the time, whether it be on the news or, out doing a story, whatever the case may be, on campus, whatever it was, journalism related, I was there, right? And so being in those leadership roles really helped craft my skills in journalism. One, because, you don't just hop into these positions, right? You have to work your way up to these positions, And so one thing I can say, I had some great friend tour. I call them friend tours, like friends and mentors. Friend tours that was, within GSU that kind of helped elevate me to get to those levels, right? People that I looked up to, people that I saw that was, doing the dang thing, right? So just watching them and, having them give me advice on how to get to the next level was great. And so that definitely helped me get to those leadership positions and stuff. And then the training, man, like the training at the news station that I went through was absolutely phenomenal. I was able to learn on-camera presence, how to edit, what else? How to get interviews, how to conduct interviews, good questions to ask, like all of this stuff I was able to learn, right? And so these are all the great necessary tools that you're going to need when it actually comes to getting out here in the industry, getting out here actually on camera in the real world and stuff like that. And then, of course, like as far as NABJ is concerned, I remember one of my friends just literally telling me about NABJ and was like, hey, come to this meeting and stuff. So, I'm coming to the meeting, not thinking that one day I'm be president of an organization. I'm just coming just to get some, it's just literally just to get some information and figure out what NABJ is about. This is my first time hearing about it. Didn't know a lick about it. Next thing you know, 2 years later, I'm president. So, that's sometimes it's just how it happens, but it's definitely a blessing.
Absolutely. And I know you've won a ton of different awards for your work in television and just in the industry overall. Was there ever like a particular moment or project for you that really stood out and made you realize like, dang, I'm really making the difference in this industry?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And I know there's so many, and we're gonna roll your latest demo reel later on in the show. So I
Sure.
know I'm putting you on the spot for sure.
Yeah. No. It's good. I'm trying to think. Awards, man. Let me see. Okay, I can say, okay, two things, right? Two things. And one is really not an award, but it's a big accomplishment. So I remember in October of 2023, I got my first check from YouTube, right? And that was, I had my YouTube channel since I was 16 years old, and I didn't get my first YouTube check until I was 23, right? So I finally got monetized on YouTube. I was thrilled. And like when I finally got that, I was like, wow, it's actually happening, yo. One thing that I've dreamed of is finally happening. So that I call that an award, but it's really like an accomplishment, kind of like a milestone within my career. And then two, I would say I actually just got literally recently in the award shows on April 5th, but I just won News Anchor of the Year. So yeah, very excited about that, and that's in partnership with ABC 9 and SEMA TV. Down in that award show is going to be down in Columbus, so I'll be going down there on April 5th to accept that award, News Anchor of the Year, which means a whole lot because there's tons of great anchors out here, and to be chosen is really to be chosen to win the award is definitely means a lot to me. So I appreciate them selecting me, and I definitely look forward to accepting that award. But I would say, yeah, those are some of the main accomplishments that I'm like, yes. And then this year I'm going for that Emmy, man. I submitted for 2 Emmys this year. I'm going for them Emmys. The Emmy, I find out about Emmy nominations next month. The Emmy Award show is going to be in June. So that's the next thing that I'm trying to win. So once I win that Emmy, like we up there. We up there.
Absolutely, and congratulations on the nominees
Thank you.
and manifesting the wins already. So that means next time we talk to you on the show, come June, we're gonna be talking to Emmy Award-winning
Yes.
media personality and
Thank
journalist Tyrik Wynn.
you.
So you're repping the hoodie, which I gotta give me a couple of myself. But I want to really talk about Wynn Productions LLC and what kind of services you offer and what really inspired you to launch that company.
Yeah, so Wynn Productions LLC is a family-owned video production company specializing in professional videography services ranging from television commercials, drone and aerial filming, customer testimony videos, event filming, podcasting, all this great thing. So literally pretty much any kind of video, we film it, we produce it, we do all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is sit back and let your brand elevate. That's literally all. We come in, we do all the execution. We'll help you with the script writing and all that good stuff, right? So we are a video production company that will help take your business to the next level, help elevate your brand, help your brand get that visibility that it needs, right? And so on the other hand, another part of the company is we also have some television shows, right? So that's another division of it. And so when we have these television shows, they are original programming that we have came up with ourselves. Some of the shows that I actually host, and we have a relationship with a local television station here in Atlanta where we can actually put your videos, put your commercials and your content on, play those during some of our commercial breaks that actually air on actual cable television here in Atlanta. So that's also a great opportunity there. But yeah, the way Wynn Productions came about, man, was I knew I wanted to be in this industry, right? But I knew I wanted some type of ownership, right? I wanted some type of ownership within this industry. And so I came up with the production company. And the great thing is I have amazing parents. that invested in my dream, invested in me, right? So when I say invested, I mean like really, really heavily invested, got me started, bought my equipment. That Christmas, that year, 2018, my one of my Christmas gifts was my LLC. Like, I mean, that's a real gift, right? A lot of us, we asking for the fresh J's and all of that stuff. I mean, I got me an LLC. I mean, that's an investment, in the future. Them J's gonna get dirty and scuffed up at some point, right? You know what I'm saying? But that LLC is here to stay. So that was amazing, right? And then being able to have the LLC, and then after that, buying equipment little by little, buying one camera here, one mic there, one light here, and just steadily buying things, of course, because when you start a business, you starting from scratch, you're starting with nothing, right? And so, I mean, unless you put your own money into it, but essentially you're starting with nothing. So of course you do have to, put a couple of dollars in it yourself. But yeah, just buying equipment little by little. And then, once you're blessed enough to get these really big projects, then you invest more into your company. And now I have like a full production. I have multiple cameras, multiple tripods, multiple lights, a drone, boom mics, clap, all this great stuff, man. So it's definitely been a journey for sure, but it's been a great one, man.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, for those that don't follow you, be sure to follow Tyrik on social media, because you guys can see a behind the scenes of the different backdrops, and you have a classroom. And I feel like you're not only creating content and helping other people create content, but you're also, resources and providing knowledge and skill set to those that are interested in getting started. So I do want to continue our conversation, but I am also going to roll, if it's cool with you, your latest demo to give them more of a feel for who you are as a journalist and a personality.
Yeah, let's roll the clip. Let's see.
All right, let's go ahead and do that.
The polls have officially closed here in Georgia, but there's still no winner yet for the presidency, but Donald Trump is leading.
Rev, tell me, some of the things that you said tonight, sounds like you might be thinking about making a run.
You see, the other journalists are coy. You just get right to the point.
About an hour away, just northeast of Atlanta, there are now plans for students to return back to school after a deadly shooting there earlier this month. The Barrow County School District is planning for a gradual reopening at Appalachian High School in Winder, Georgia.
Does he need Georgia to win the election?
Absolutely. The road to the White House goes through Georgia, and we're going to bring it home.
When you think about the legacy that you're building, not only as a champion, but as a leader, how do you hope this moment defines your career and the culture of the Eagles moving forward?
Well, I think in the beginning, it's never been about what anyone else is doing. It's always been about, you, yourself, the team, and the work and the effort that you guys put in.
Now we've transitioned over to the other side of the jail, and this side is actually on Rice Street. Now we've walked up and down this street, and we saw tons and tons of Trump supporters and a select few of anti-Trump supporters that have come out here as well. When drivers pull it to the pump on Saturday, they're going to get the full service treatment. Church volunteers are going to wash their windows. Also, to make sure they have enough air, they're going to check your tire pressure. And drivers don't even have to get out of the car. The volunteers are going to pump the gas for them. A horrific story out of the Moulton County community this morning. A 7-year-old boy shot and killed in his home. Now his mother is charged with his murder.
Why on election day should African Americans wake up and head to the polls and vote for you?
And we recently had the unfortunate Hurricane Helene, that hit Georgia. How has that affected the voting?
Unbelievably, we started on time today.
I am broadcasting from the Caesars Superdome right here in New Orleans, Louisiana, home of Super Bowl 59, where the Philadelphia Eagles have defeated the Kansas City Chiefs, claiming their second Super Bowl title.
Hey, wherever you get your holiday shopping done. Now, we're not paying for it.
Oh, wait, you're muted. You're muted.
Hey, that's why producers come in handy, so you can be the talent and be in the zone and not be in all the things. But for those of you that are just tuning in, this is Ty's Take Today Live. That was just a sample of some of Tyrik Wynn's work. And I really want to talk more, about how do you balance, being a journalist, being an on-air personality, as well as your own being an entrepreneur. And then as well as, when it comes to mental health, I feel like we talk about about mental health with all of our guests here on our platform. And like, how do you balance that when there's so many different projects and things going on? You know, does it get overwhelming, or are you able to kind of handle that well?
Yeah, I'm just be real with you. It gets very overwhelming. Not even gonna hold you, especially when you got, like, if you notice, you saw a lot of election coverage in there from the 2024 election. That was an overwhelming season in itself. Especially, I'm here in Georgia, right? So you got both candidates coming here left and right every day, every week, and stuff. So you got to be at this rally, you got to be at that rally, you got to do this, you got to do that. So it was a lot, man. And it honestly does get overwhelming, especially if you're like myself. Like, I do so much, and it's kind of hard, like people always tell me, be careful not to stretch yourself too thin, not to try to do too much, and, focus on just one thing at a time and stuff. And so sometimes that does get tough, I can tell you. And I will say, mental health wise, I'll just say I definitely had to shift some gears a little bit recently. And, a lot of people saw that announcement and stuff. But sometimes you have to shift gears a little bit to kind of get your mind right, and so that way, your mental health is in a good state, right? Because I can say at one point it was, I was under a lot of stress at one point. And I felt like my mental health was a little under attack at one point, but now I feel like now it's good. Like I'm great now. Like I'm out. I'm no longer dealing with that stuff, which I'm great and very appreciative for. That is definitely a blessing. That I'm a lot better in that area. But yeah, sometimes you just got to be careful not to try to do too much and not stretch yourself too thin, and don't take on more than what you can handle. Only do things that you can handle, do things that you can be fully committed to, and do things that, like, only sign up for things that is going to be worth your time and things that you actually want to do. Like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to decline certain requests if you have to. Like, it just is what it is. Sometimes you just have to do sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes you have to be selfish and do what's best for you at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And just from the clip alone, we've seen you interview a wide range of talents, from music artists, politicians. I think I saw you interview one of the Real Housewives. So with that being said, and as somebody who has mastered the art of interviewing, what do you think makes a great interview, and how do you prepare for more high profile guests when it comes to your interview process and preparations?
Yeah, that's a great question. The way you do interviews is the key to doing good interviews is two things. One, having the best out of the box questions, and two, doing research beforehand, right? Those are the two main components. And then one, of course, making your guests feel comfortable as well. So actually that's three. But when you do those three things, man, I'm telling you, all of your interviews will be immaculate, right? If you do the research ahead of time, by doing the research, you use that research to come up with great, amazing, out of the box, very thought-worthy questions, and then also making the guests feel comfortable ahead of time as well, right? If you do those things, all of your interviews are going to be good. When it comes to doing the research, right? Sometimes if it's a celebrity, really, really simple to do the research. Obviously, they're going to have a website, they're going to have an Instagram. Somebody done articles on them, something like it's going to be plenty of news. There's going to be plenty of news out there related to them, right? So doing research on a celebrity is going to be really easy, right? And then, of course, you always want to look for kind of recent things that have happened, right? So, okay, such and such just did this, such and such just opened up this business. I'm going to ask them about that. How's the business like? Or, I know that, hey, sometimes it can even be a little drama in there. Okay, I know such and such in the middle of a divorce. Let's see how they going through that. Sometimes you got to ask them questions, because I can tell you one thing that I have learned about in this industry, that controversy gets views, right? For example, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very controversial person. Anytime I have done a clip, done a story, interviewed somebody related to Donald Trump or somebody who supports him, or done a Trump story, it has either won an award or it has gotten thousands of views, right? It's just like he's just one of those people that's going to get content. Like he's just one of those people that everybody is going, well, not everybody, but like a lot of people want to like hear what's happening, what's going on and stuff like that. So it's also that, man. But if you can, sometimes you do have to get a little controversial, especially as a journalist, because, you know, sometimes you may have a person in front of you, right? And, you know, there are some questions depending on who you're interviewing, and at the time you're interviewing them, there may be some questions that as a journalist, you have to ask them. And if you don't ask those certain questions, you might not be a credible journalist, or you might get creamed at the comments, right? You know, especially like if somebody has a certain controversy going on, or, you know, anything like that, they're going through something publicly, the audience is going to expect you to ask them about that and talk about that, right? Now, sometimes you have publicists that will butt in sometimes, and they'll tell you not to ask these certain things. So in that case, what you want to do is you just want to make a disclaimer that basically saying, you know, whether you make that disclaimer saying that on camera, whether you put that in the description, in the comments, and saying that, you know, we were asked by the publicist or by their team to not talk about this topic or whatever. That way your credibility is still there, you know. You know, those are just a couple of things and stuff. And then, of course, making people feel comfortable and making the interview exciting. If you do those things, man, you're going to be good. You're going to be good to go every time.
Absolutely. And then as far as the vice president of digital for the Atlanta Association of Black Journalists, are there any key initiatives? I know, you know, we see a lot of, you know, we would like to see more diversity overall when it comes to, you know, in the newsroom, on-air presence. Are there any projects or initiatives that you are currently working on specifically to help Black journalists in the digital space or just in our industry as a whole?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So a couple of things we're definitely working on within this role. So two things, right? One, I'm also, you know, I'm the vice president of digital for the Atlanta Association of Black Journalists, and then also the chairman for the National Association of Black Journalists Digital Journalism Task Force, right? So within those two roles, a lot of planning is taking place right now. One, we are planning for the kickoff party that Atlanta is going to host at the NABJ convention in August. That's going to be held in Cleveland, because the convention next year in 2026 is going to be here in Atlanta. So we'll be hosting the NABJ convention. And then also on the national side of things, I'm in the process of planning a big reception for all of the digital journalists that are going to be at NABJ too. So those are a couple of things that I'm working on, right? One thing that I do plan to work on in the future in this, and it may not necessarily be in this role, because right now we are working on a whole bunch of things, you know, planning for these different events that's coming up. But I do plan to run for president of the Atlanta Association of Black Journalists. Soon we have elections in November, so I do plan to run for president. And one of the things that's going to be as far as advancing Black media and Black journalism and stuff is, one thing I want to do is I want to create I haven't really thought it's a working name in progress, but I want to create an initiative called the Black Media Credentialing Initiative. And so a working name in progress. No, it ain't the best name, but it's a working name in progress. And so what it is basically, if you look now, the issues that we have in Black media are a couple of things. One, we're constantly being denied credentials to various events, credentials to cover different things. And I'll give some examples in just a bit. And then when we go on these different red carpets to get into these events, we're being put at the end of the carpet. It's not fair, right? And so one thing I can tell you is I can say with, I'm not going to get into specifics because I don't want to get messy. But what I can tell you is there is a certain football team that I can say in my case where, you know, me personally, they have constantly denied me for a numerous amount of years. Even when I was at iHeartRadio, Black Information Network, I was denied credentials to this certain football team. And then also I've heard other Black media outlets constantly being denied from this football team as well. And so just things like that, you know, we got to work on ways to stand up to that. to combat these issues that we're also facing in media as well. And then when it comes to the carpets, man, I remember there have been plenty of times where I've been put at the end of the carpet, and by the time when you're doing these different events, depending on what event it is, if it's like a big celebrity star-studded event, by the time the celebrity gets down to the end of the carpet, they're either rushing them in, the celebrity's tired, they don't feel like talking, they're late, whatever the case may be. You're not going to get as much interviews as the people are at the front of the carpet, right? And so, of course, they're putting they're putting the big outlets and, you know, the people with the most followers and, you know, other races at the front of the carpet and stuff, and, you know, the black media outlets get put at the back, man. And it's just not fair. And so, you know, that's one thing I definitely want to work on, come up with an initiative or come up with something where we can really, really address this issue and hit it head on.
Absolutely. And then also, I want to talk a little bit about just your thoughts overall when it comes to television and radio. I know we're seeing a lot of layoffs and cuts in the radio industry, and a lot of shows are now no longer live and local, more voice tracked and pre-recorded. What's your take and what is Tyrik's thoughts on just the future of, you know, journalism and radio and podcasting? Let's dive into a little bit of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. I will say one thing I can tell you, that's kind of the new pandemic within our industry is the layoffs, man. The layoffs are absolutely crazy. I have seen friends get laid off. It is literally the saddest thing. And it's crazy because, like, when you get laid off, it's literally all of a sudden. There's no like, probably gonna get laid off in about a couple weeks. It's literally like you'll come into work and they tell you laid off. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then it's like, okay, how do you prepare for that and stuff? So it's really sad and unfortunate. I even saw layoffs in house with the last company I was with. There were a couple of layoffs that took place, and it was, you know, it was very sad, man. But I can tell you is one thing that I wish companies would do. I wish companies would figure out ways to, I guess, avoid layoffs and stuff. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that does not make sense to me, right? And I'm still having trouble trying to figure this out, right? One, I've seen layoffs, right? But then on the other hand, these companies still got job applications out. So I'm just trying to figure out like the math ain't mathing for me. So it's like, okay, you laying people off, but you're still hiring. Like, help me understand that. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So are you laying these people off that you're paying a certain amount, and you're laying them off, and then these new people that you're working on hiring, are you going to be paying them significantly less? Like what is the case that's going on? I would really like to know, honestly, because it doesn't seem right to me. So that's one thing, man. But yeah, the layoffs are crazy, man. That's one thing I wish that it would just stop, man, because it's just so sad to see other people and friends lose their jobs just because of, you know, money issues.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say, even for myself, seeing, you know, friends being laid off just like randomly, like super talented, been doing the thing, doing everything correct, and then like you said, like there's no rhyme or reason to it. A lot of the times it's like, oh, we're changing directions, oh, formats are switching. So it's not at this point, it doesn't even matter how talented you are or how long you've been with the company. And it's really devastating and unfortunate. Like, my thoughts and my heart is with everybody that's experienced that first on. Before we play a quick game of rapid fire questions, I do want to ask you, what is your advice to anyone out there, or especially young Black journalists out there who may be interested in, you know, pursuing a career in television or radio? What advice would you give to them? What wisdom would you give them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say one thing you definitely got to do is you got to make sure you put the work in, man. You got to make sure you put the work in and be dedicated to doing it, right? It's not something that's going to be easy. It's not depending on what type of position you are in, but I will say starting out it's not all glitz and glam and standing in front of the camera. Nah, you got to put some real heavy duty work into this thing, right? And yeah, you gotta make sure you put in that work, man. If you don't put in that work and learn all the ins and outs of the business, you're not really gonna last that long. And I can tell you, very important. Learn the ins and outs, learn all the aspects, right? Learn how to be on camera, learn how to interview, learn how to speak well on camera, learn how to edit, learn how to shoot, film, all this stuff, man. I'm telling you, you learn all of those skills, you are going to be so valuable, and people gonna pay you people gonna pay you, right? Now, always know your worth. That's another thing. People will pay you, right? But you gotta come with these skills and a degree. A degree helps too. But not everybody has to have a degree. But I will just say the degree just kind of gives you a little bit more of an edge. We can also give you a little bit more pay as well if you do have a degree. And then I also say this, man, there may be a time, especially with our industry, it's so hard to get in the door, man. I will say this. If there are no doors opening, this is what you have to do. There aren't any doors opening. What you have to do is you have to go out, get your own door, build your own door, put your own door up and walk through it. Walk through your own door, create your own avenues, create your own content, build your own studio, create your own podcast, do your own Instagram live series, create your own show like how you got on StreamYard. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube. Wherever, we streaming on all the things, right? Create your own stuff, man. You don't have to wait for other people just to give you an opportunity, because I can tell you, an opportunity is always not going to be there. I wish it was, but that's just not the case, especially within our industry. So you're going to have to put in the work, and you need to work on building your own stuff and building your own legacy. So that's my advice.
Absolutely. All right, Tyrik. So before you get out of here, I appreciate you for giving us some of your time this evening. And for those that may be new or just watching Ty's Take Today live for the first time, so at the end of each interview, we do a quick rapid fire game, random, fun, energetic, get to know our guest type of questions. So first up, Tyrik, what is the last song or artist that you've had on repeat lately?
Last song. Dang, what was that song I was just listening to? Hold on, let me pull it up right quick. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me figure this out. Okay, let me go look at my playlist. Oh, You Got It Bad, Usher. I'm an Usher fan, man.
Okay, all right. I have my former co-host saw him in concert, and she showed me videos, and all it was her singing. I'm like, I can't even hear him singing. I've never seen him in concert, but I the last concert I went to was Nicki Minaj in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I saw her there, and then I saw her in Ohio. So
yeah. Nicki put on a show too.
Nicki for sure. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
Do they have to be dead or alive?
Either.
Okay. Let me see. Martin Luther King.
All right. I feel like him and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. That would be on my list for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What is one fun fact about you that most people don't know?
I don't like condiments. I eat my burgers dry, eat my fries dry, chicken tenders dry. Literally, the only condiment I'll eat is barbecue sauce. But I don't like mayo, mustard, don't like salad dressing, nothing. Like barbecue sauce, and that's it.
So no dressing, no oil, no nothing on a salad?
Nope, disgusting.
Interesting. That is very interesting. I don't like ranch or mayo at all, but
yeah,
I'm over here thinking like a dry salad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. If you weren't in journalism or media, what career would you see? What career could you see yourself in?
Honestly, I was just talking to somebody about that. I would honestly, and this is like really random, but I would probably want to work on board a cruise ship. Because I've cruised so many times, and I would be part of the entertainment team. Like I would host the cruise, you know what I'm saying? Be that person that come on the intercom, let you know the activities we got going on for the day. So yeah, I'd be on board a cruise ship.
I would say I've never been on a cruise ship. Cruise ship. I can't talk today. But I did work at Target, and I begged them to let me do like the store closing announcement, and I was like, Attention, Target shoppers. The time is now 8:59 and the store is now closed. And they're like, damn, Tyler, you're good at this. I'm like, I might host a podcast here and there.
Yeah, for sure.
No big deal. So definitely that's on my list for sure. I want to go on a cruise ship. So I can see that. And the cruise ships are always lit. What is your go-to comfort food after a long day?
Fried chicken. Yeah. Or Dairy Queen Blizzard for dessert.
Okay. I feel that. What is one movie or TV show that you can either watch over and over without getting tired, or like a guilty pleasure reality TV show?
TV show I would say Family Matters. Steve, I'm a big fan of Steve Urkel, big fan. And then movie I would say Spider-Man, No Way Home, or whatever that most recent Spider-Man was. I think it was Far From Home or No Way Home. And then reality show, I gotta say Housewives.
Which one?
Atlanta.
Okay.
Just because I know some of them, so that's why I just be like, it'd be
I haven't started Atlanta fully in depth yet, but for me, my answer is definitely Real Housewives of Potomac. So any of the RHOP ladies out there watching, or if y'all want to tag them in the comments, I'm working on an interview with Ashley and Mia, and I want to talk to Karen too. Once Karen gets out, I'll take an interview with all of them. For sure. And then lastly, if you could instantly master any skill that you don't currently have, what would it be?
Any skill, I would say building. And what I mean by building is like putting stuff together and knowing how to fix stuff. So like if your washing machine go out, know how to fix it. Dishwasher go out, know how to fix it. Roof leak, know how to fix it. Like, because you know how much money you could save if you master them type of skills, you ain't got to call nobody. so yeah, that would definitely be the skill.
Absolutely. Again, Tyrik, Wynn, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm looking forward to checking in with you and hearing about all of the upcoming awards that you're about to manifest. Go ahead and let our audience know, again, where they can find you on social media for those that can connect with you and learn more about you and the projects that you're currently working on, as well as your company and the services that you guys offer as well.
Yeah, of course. Well, like I said, appreciate this, man. This was great. Glad we was able to do this. Had a great time. But yeah, y'all can make sure y'all go connect with me on social media. Everything Tyrik Wynn TV, TYRIKWYNNT&V. Find me on all social platforms across there. And then also Wynn Productions LLC. That's WYNN Productions LLC. That's same thing with that. Social media across the board. Like I said, television commercials, drone and aerial filming, customer testimony videos, podcast production, all that good stuff. Yeah, we do it. We make it happen. So you can shoot us a DM, send us a text, give us a call. All of our information is on our social media platforms as well. And guys, stay tuned in because we got, like you said, award shows coming up. Working on some other things with their media. Gonna be coming out with some new stuff soon. So just stay tuned in, man. I'm excited about the way where the Lord is about to lead me and what the Lord got planned for me. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much, Tyrik. And I'll be sure to stay in contact with you. And we'll be sure to put all of your social medias and where everybody can find you in the description and captions of our videos. Again, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You as well. All right. And then for those of you that are just tuning in, that was media personality and journalist Tyrik Wynn. Coming up next on deck, you're watching Ty's Take Today Live, and we are next going to be talking to music artist Smoov Jugg about his journey as a music artist and the current projects that he has going on, and learning more about how he first got started in the music industry. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and add our next guest to the live. And then, of course, if you guys want to chime in and share your thoughts, take, and perspective, you guys can do so by commenting on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll be sure to share and read some of your comments back as well. All right. That being said, right now, I am going to add our next guest, music artist Smoov Jugg, to the virtual platform. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yo, what up, though, Ty?
What's going on?
What up, though?
So I really just want to dive in and introduce you as an artist to our audience, and really what first sparked your love for music, and when did you know that this was a career that you wanted to pursue?
Oh wait, uh, I believe since I could giggle, man, I've been I've been making hymns and melodies. So I mean, it's been in my family since I started. So I mean, just watching all the different generations before me go for the same dream, and I just felt like I can take it across the finish line. I feel like since like I said early childhood, man, like before I can even really, cause like I was a kid in studios, so yeah, early. I say toddler ages 5. So
Absolutely. And then, growing up early on, having a passion and a love for music, who were some of the artists and musicians that you listened to growing up, and even some artists today that have inspired you and kind of helped shape your talent, and or just any inspirations that you look up to in the industry?
I mean, I really like old music. Like I listen to old music, man. I like James Brown. I like Marvin Gaye. You know what I'm saying? Sam Cooke. Real soulful music. I like Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu. Those type of. I go for texture and feel. Really, I ain't really too into. You know, I ain't really into the head bob. That's why my name's Smoov. I ain't really into all the. You know, it's more of a feeling for me. So like I said, I like a lot of the legends, Michael Jackson, Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like real legends that paved the way. You know what I'm saying? That's really the only time you hear me listen to anybody besides myself.
Absolutely. And for you, breaking into the music industry at such a young age, what were some of the first steps that you took to get your foot in the door? Or, what were some obstacles or challenges that you had to overcome during your journey?
I think that getting in the dope, like I did a lot of background. I did a lot of like playing I don't know, I was in a lot of like, I ain't gonna say groups, but I did a lot of engineering for a lot of different studios. And I used to be like, marketers. I used to do management. I used to do a lot of the different background things while still juggling my career. But I didn't know, saying that I wanted to take it as a career. I just knew that I was going to for sure be in the music industry. I knew I wanted to do executive thing. That's why I started the label and, learn the business, because I figured, everybody, like I said, the generations before me, they pursued it, but they only pursued the talent wise. They only went off into, being the best, this or that. So I figured if I put the other pieces together, then all that talent, we'd be able to get through the door with what I know, So I took the steps to learn, the actual business. So that's what got me more, behind more stages, and behind more, in more of the mix rather than my actual artistry did before my artistry did, I should say. My, my wait for the actual industry and knowing publishing and knowing, the different stuff that I know got me, in rooms that my artistry. Then I had to throw it in there like, oh yeah, I sing too. They like, oh did. So I would say just knowing the information, just knowing the business.
Absolutely. So not just being the vocals and being the voice,
Right.
but also knowing the background in the business, the way business is processed, and
Right.
and knowing that insight. So every artist has their defining moments early in their career. Was there any particular specific moments where you were like, this is, I'm truly on the right path?
Oh man. Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of those instances where I done sat down with a couple different like, I ain't gonna put the labels out. I sat down with a couple different labels, but I think the significant like eye opener where I was like, yeah, I'm really gotta I pitched the song to R. Kelly. I met him down in Georgia, at Stonecrest Mall. I pitched one of my songs to him. I had made the song, and it was just like a random situation. You know what I'm saying? Me and my boy, we down in Atlanta, and he been calling people all day. So, we running through the mall. He'll call somebody. He like, bro, they go Lil Wayne. It's our first time being down there. We in Detroit, so we down in Atlanta. We looking for everybody in our mind. So he like, look, they go Lil Wayne. Anybody with dreads. So he look, oh, they go Ashanti. Anybody with a body. So we in the store, and he like, man, R. Kelly behind you. So he done did all this playing all day. I'm not even about to turn around, bro. All right, for sure, R. Kelly behind me, bro. I ain't not again. You feel me? And I started smelling like a cigar or some shit and something. I'm like, we in the mall? Who's smoking in the mall? You know what I'm saying? Turn around and sure enough, you know, I can't, you know, it wasn't, like I said, I ain't an advocate of that, but his musical instance is what it is, you know, and at the time, this is before all of the crazy stuff. So he ended up taking my song. He ended up not taking it, but he ended up like accepting it, like, oh yeah, what you want for it? And this is, like I said, the same eye opener that made me go get the business understood. He gave me a number. And at the time, I thought that was absurd. You know, I'm like, what? You know, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So I denied it. And yeah, after I did my due diligence later on in life, learning what I turned down. Yeah, it definitely made me, you know, snap in the gear. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then on top of that, opportunities like that just don't come. And then you don't just, like I said, I ain't gonna say fumble them, but yeah, you just don't throw them away like that. But it just lined up to make me, like I said, do what I knew I needed to do in the first place, and that was get the information, get the understanding about the business. Because music it's not even about, I ain't gonna say it's not about talent, but talent is disappearing daily. Talent is disappearing daily as a level of importance on the music scale. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I always stay true to, like I said, I like music for the feel. I like music for the message.
Absolutely. And like you said, like those opportunities don't just come, you know, sporadically. Like it was divine timing. For those that may not be familiar with you as an artist or may have yet to hear your music, you know, how would you describe your sound and your creativeness, as well as what sets you apart from, say, other artists in Detroit or in Michigan?
Hey man, I'm the founder of Trap and B, man. I started this barbecue business. I started this barbecue business. You hear me? I founded Trap and B, man. Like I can't really give you a sound, but it's like I said, it's Trap and B. It's the sweet blend. It's smooth, you know. And I think that really it just started with me not trying to be like the next, like it was like we always had a sound. Detroit always had a sound. Like we always had a sound. Like at least, you know what I'm saying, in my era, you know what I'm saying? Like it was always, you know, the cadence of the flow, like it was only like 4 or 5 different cadences that everybody had. It wasn't that you know, wasn't that nobody was copying off nobody. None of that. It's just like that is our sound. Like other places have a sound and a cadence, you know what I'm saying? We had a sound and a cadence. And me, you know, I ain't had no problem with, you know what I'm saying? I had no problem with the cadence or the sound itself, but it's just that, you know, in order to be a pioneer or in order to actually, you know, you can't, it's already a full race, you know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to wake up, everybody waking up being a rapper, everybody waking up, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I got to set myself apart, you know what I'm saying? So just off of my musical, you know what I'm saying, what my musical endeavors is my own, like the stuff that I'm fans of just made me a little different, you know what I'm saying? Just listening to Marvin Gaye instead of what was on the radio, you know what I'm saying? just listening to Prince instead of what was on the radio, you know what I'm saying? Just listening to what I was listening to instead of what was on the radio kept me, you know what I'm saying, away from, I guess, the norm, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I guess that's what developed the sound. And like I said, just living and being, you know what I'm saying? So the rough edge come from, you know, I'm still in Detroit, you know what I'm saying? We still out here, you know what I'm saying? But it's like we not a part of that culture. We trying to take it to, you know, R&B sides. We trying to get it back to, you know what I'm saying, the Motown feel of things. But, you know, it's kind of hard because, you know, we get glorified for our rough sound, you know what I'm saying, nowadays with it. It's like they forgot that this was Motown or something. like it's to the extent. But yeah, I feel like I got my sound, like I said, I got my sound from just crafting and listening to my own music a lot. Like I make a song and play that mug out and become my own fan over time.
Absolutely. And when it comes to, you know, being an artist and your creative process, you know, can you take us and give us a little more further insight as to what that looks like? Do you have a particular routine?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It used to be crazy. Like my preparation for music is really, like I said, I go for feel. So I haven't wrote in then, man, 15 years worth of music. Like I ain't wrote no music, like not actually like pen to paper. So everything come like off of feel. I do punching. So I usually engineer a lot of my own music. If I'm not engineering myself, I go to shout out to Dave Blue at Suite 328. Yeah, I go sit down with him. Other than that, I mess with my, my in-house brothers. Everybody got their own set of skills. But my creative process, man, is really off of my feelings. I gotta be feeling like something. If I'm not feeling like nothing, I can't make nothing. I just don't have no, I don't feel like, I don't know what. If I ain't got no feel, I don't have no feel. Like, so I can't create something from nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I have to live and experience certain things and go through certain things. So my spurts is like, say something happened, I ain't gonna say gotta be that detrimental, but something happened that will spark a certain emotion. I could make 10, 12 songs off of that, just one situation, and then I could say my life is just smooth sailing. I can't make no music. Like, I won't be recording this week, you know what I'm saying? I can't be recording this month, but and it ain't necessarily just off of bad things or trauma or things of that sort, but it's really experience, period. You know what I'm saying? If I just been on the regular, going to go fix people's houses, like, I'm like, I can't make a song about that. Not me. I don't think it don't fit my style. But yeah, it's like as long as I'm living and experiencing, I can continue to create. But if I'm just going through the motions of life, I don't got that much of a creative spunk. Like, I gotta be actually. I ain't gonna say it's not I don't gotta be ignited or nothing like that, because I got a natural, I'm a natural creative. But at the same time, in order for me to get into my like spurts and like recording, I have to been through something. If not, then yeah, because I don't write. So it's like I'm not in there journaling, you know what I'm saying? I gotta actually have it on my chest to express it. So that's why a lot of my music that I listen to gotta have a feeling to it, because I feel like if it didn't, how did you make it? Like how did you make this song? You know what I'm saying? That's how I think about it. So yeah, I don't really no.
For sure, I completely understand. Actually, like being able to live through it and take those lived experiences and then transferring them over to your talent within your projects. So that being said, I do want to continue our conversation with you, and then also on deck, we're talking to author, engineer, and father Aaron Spencer. So right now, if you don't mind, I actually want to play Emotional, and then we'll come back and chop it up, as long as that's cool with you.
Oh yeah, no problem. Emotional for sure.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. You guys are watching Ty's Take Today live. Let's go.
Nobody's gonna show you won't do it right. Nobody's gonna show you won't do it right. If nobody's gonna show you won't do it right. If nobody's gonna tell you won't do it right. If nobody's gonna judge you won't do it right. You always think that you should do something. And if nobody's gonna judge you won't do it right. You fucking up the accuracy. You don't want nobody to tell you ain't do it right. You always think that you know something. I made sure you weren't alone. I made sure you were okay. I made sure you didn't fall. I made sure you didn't break. I made sure you were alone. I made sure you were okay. Hey, is this how you play me? Is this how you gonna repay me? Is this how you play me? Is that how you gonna repay me? I think these tricks took the place of you. I think these drugs took the place of you. I might get you off my mind. Don't let this bitch take your place from you. I never asked for no space from you. You made this room for replacing you. They don't want nobody to tell you ain't do it. You always think that you know something. I made sure you didn't fall. I made sure you didn't break. I made sure you weren't alone. I made sure you were okay. Is this how you play me? Is this how you gonna repay me? me? Is that how you play me? Is this how you gonna repay me? I made sure you didn't fall. I made sure you didn't break. I made sure you weren't alone. I made sure you were okay. Is this how you play me? Is this how you gonna repay me? Is this how you play me? Is this how you gonna repay me?
Shut up. Awesome.
All right, you guys are watching Ty's Take Today live. That was emotional, and we're continuing our conversation with music artist Smoov Jugg. And Smoov, for you, if you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness! I sat down with this question so many times, man. I really think about this. I wouldn't say present. I always want to go back. Like, I really want to, like, man, see, that's crazy. It's so many greats that we done lost, man. I don't want to disrespect nobody's legacy, man. That's crazy, Tom, man. Dang. James Brown.
James Brown. Okay. Any particular reason or
the reason? Because the Godfather. So that just because, like, man, he pressed his own, like, the same thing I was just explaining. Like, he had the information. He had the information before it was even a thing. Like, he had his own distribution. He started his own vinyl record company. He had his own private jet. He did his own tour, but he did his own everything. So yeah, I would have loved to got you know what I'm saying, use some of that sauce on me back then, just that would have put you then there 100 years ahead of the game, man.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And for you, what has been the most rewarding experience in your music career so far?
Man, the most rewarding, I ain't gonna lie to you, every stream is the most rewarding. I appreciate everybody that listens to me, like, because that's what I do. I only do it to, to create the moments and get it feels to the world. Like, it's not my, it's like I'm an artist. I'm a real artist. I don't want to hold none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is on display for y'all. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could just drop it all off. You know what I'm saying? But I got to do it strategically. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the most rewarding, like I said, is every stream that I get, man. Every fan, every comment, every time that I see that I'm not the only person listening to me. You know what I'm saying? Every time that somebody show me, like, oh, okay, I need to keep doing this, then that's the biggest thing in the world. Because being an artist is, man, that ain't it's not. I wouldn't suggest it if I was, if I was tell somebody, like, yeah, man, what you want to do? Like, yeah, man, go ahead and be an artist. No, I wouldn't tell nobody that. But
Absolutely.
I wouldn't deter nobody away from their dreams, though. I would definitely tell them, chase it with all you got, learn the game, like, because it's a business.
Absolutely. And can you tell our audience a little bit more about any upcoming or current projects or upcoming music releases? What can we expect from you as an artist as we continue to progress through 2025?
Oh man, see, I've been on a hiatus, man, really, because I've been trying to really just get everything together. I've been really rebranding, but I got so many projects on the way. I got a feature film named after my last project called That Was Then that I wrote, that I'm trying to when I'm about to get ready. It's in post-production right now. It's in pre-production right now. And I'm trying to get everything squared away so we can get started. But musically, I got 4 or 5 projects, man, that only thing that's stopping me from just letting them go right now is really just figuring out which order I want to go to as far as marketing aesthetic, because I want to make sure that the aesthetics is fitting with the time, and I don't want to mess up the timing with the aesthetic. So I got 4 or 5 projects on the way, but mainly I just want to focus on That Was Then, the feature film, and like I said, getting a lot of this content done for these things that I'm doing as far as that project, because I slid past that a lot. Like, that last project, I didn't really do too much to it because I was really, like I said, I was doing a lot of stuff. I wrote a book. I started writing that movie. I was just doing a lot, so I didn't get a chance to really do too much content to the last project I did. That Was Then I'm speaking on. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to focus in on that. Was then get that all wrapped up, and like I said, I got 4 projects, man, ready to go. They already done. They don't need to be mixed, so it's not really a delay. It's really I'm in the marketing stages. I'm trying to figure out which aesthetic gonna go with the time, so I can just do it.
Absolutely. And before we get on to our rapid fire game, lastly, for those out there that may be interested in being an up and coming music artist or, breaking into the industry, what advice would you give to people out there that may be watching this interview today?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, you don't gotta listen to nobody else. You don't like long as you learn the business. That's first and foremost. Learn the business of ownership and IP, intellectual property. Music is an intellectual property game. It's nothing else. It's nothing else. So once you learn how to control and own and leverage your intellectual property, you don't gotta listen to nobody else. Just continue to create and find your people. Your people gonna listen to you. You don't gotta think about who gonna listen to you. It's your people is. That's what I tell somebody that tried to be an artist.
Absolutely. And now we're going to play a quick game of rapid fire, just like we did with our first guest, Tyrik. First up, what is the last song or artist you had on repeat?
Oh man, last song I keep Chris Young, I'm Full of Smoke. You ever heard of that? Chris
No,
Young,
I have not.
Man, yeah, I got that on repeat. That's I wake up early in the morning to that, about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh, that's so early. I'm gonna have to listen to it after this live. If you could open up for any artist on tour, who would it be?
Any artist on tour?
Yeah.
Man. Beyonce.
Okay. And then I also want to switch the question and rotate it. And who would you want to have open up for you?
I don't know, probably my dog Evan.
For sure. And then late night studio session or early morning writing session, which do you prefer?
Oh, late night studio session all day long.
For sure. If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
I'm Full of Smoke by Chris Young.
And then lastly, I'm gonna have to listen to this artist. If you had to pick one album to listen to for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably Nas Ether.
For sure. And then if you can go ahead and let everybody know where to follow you on social media and connect with you, we'll also put it on the captions and the descriptions of this video as well.
Follow me at Smoov Jugg, SMOOV JUGG. That's on everything. I don't really change it up. Smoov Jugg across all platforms. Only thing different is my YouTube. It's under my my record label, Straight Face Entertainment, STR8FACE. ENT, it'll pop up. It'll be a little logo with a straight face, a little mean thing.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say, your YouTube is actually streaming on the bottom of the screen as well. Yeah. So we'll be sure to link our audience to follow and connect with you, stream your music on all streaming platforms. Thank you so much again for joining us this evening.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate the takers, man. And shout out to Tyrik Wynn, man. He put me up on a lot of things. I want to reach out to him, man.
For sure. Hey, that's what it's all about, dropping gems and connecting people. So that's what we do here on the platform. And thank you guys for sharing just a part of your night with our Taker squad, for sure.
For sure. Appreciate y'all, man.
Absolutely. Thank you again. All right. So you guys are watching Ty's Take today live. That was music artist Smoov Jugg. Be sure to follow him on Instagram at Smoov Jugg. We'll be sure to link all of our guests' social medias in our description of the video. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, be sure to chime in and share your thoughts. We'll be sharing some of the comments throughout the show. So go ahead and drop some comments down, and we'll be sure to read them back, or just let us know where you guys are watching from. We have audience from all over the world. So that being said, we are going to add our next guest to the virtual platform. Closing us out this evening, this is Aaron Spencer, father, author, and engineer. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Appreciate you, Tom. How you doing, man?
Absolutely, do it well. Thank you again for rocking out with us. I know it's a longer episode. Usually we have just 2 guests, so I appreciate you. And I really just want to take some time to introduce you as the person that you are to our audience. I know, like I said, father, author, engineer. I really just want to talk about, how this journey really started for you. I know we saw you on Fox 2 here in Detroit. So tell us a little bit more about yourself for those that may not be familiar with who you are.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. So Aaron Spencer, for those who do not know me, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, east side of Detroit to be exact. Went to Fitzgerald High School as my high school out in Warren, and then when I graduated from there, man, I went to Wayne State, got my bachelor's in 2014 and got my master's in 2019. I've been in corporate America for 10 plus years now. So I work with General Motors. I'm a senior data engineer for General Motors. I've been with GM for about 4 years, a little bit over 4 years. Prior to that, I was with General Electric, or GE. People know it as by GE, but I was with GE for about 7.5 years. And then as far as like how I got started in the, artist world as an author and whatnot, man, honestly, I was helping out a friend of mine. Her name is Zendaya Canty. She's an author as well, a children's book author. She's pretty dope. And I was helping her out with some business stuff. And we were just kind of talking tongue in cheek about, how she would pay me, things like that. I wasn't really expecting no money, but it was just kind of conversation we was going through. But anyway, I was looking for a house at the time, and the market's being so crazy. I was bidding like 20, 30 grand over, trying to find a house on Farm in the Hills. I'm in Dearborn now. But I was like, man, you know what? Well, I can use some more money, man. That was kind of like I was like, man, I can use some more money. So anyway, long story short, chopped it up with her, and she gave me the idea about writing the book, and then we talked about an hour about what do you want to write about. I was like, I have no idea. I have zero idea what I want to write about. But the idea that came to mind was changing the narrative around fathers, specifically Black fathers, but just fathers in general, because the overall narrative on fathers is that we only the financial provider. I always like to use the analogy of like a dad can go buy a toy and then someone's calling him a great dad. And it's like, that's awesome that you give him that compliment, but that's not really all of what it takes to be a good dad, To where like it's so much more that goes into fatherhood and being a parent in general. And that's for moms and dads. So I want to give everyone credit as a parent that's out here being actively involved in their child's lives. But the story for the book, Imagine Dad, is I just wanted to create a book that showed the attributes, qualities, and characteristics that it was to be an actual father, and what that really looked like from a perspective of, hey, what would you want to ideally see in a person? So that's kind of the background on that. A little bit about myself too.
Absolutely. And I know, fatherhood or just parenting as a whole is a journey filled with highs and lows, ups and downs. For you thus far, what has been the most rewarding part of being a father and being able to take that responsibility and create books and resources for those to read to their children?
The most rewarding part, man, is just seeing my son just have these different exposures and experiences that he gets to tell his friends about, or his family members, like, oh, dad did this. Like, we went on a cruise last year around fall time, whatnot. We went with the family, and that's something that as a kid I never got the opportunity to do. But just giving him things that I've never been exposed to, like the whole cliche saying, do for your kids that you didn't get done to you. So doing all those things is one of the most rewarding parts. But just seeing him every day smile, like you literally have a mini me. For me, I have a son, but if you would have kids in general, it's like that's a miniature version of yourself, good, bad, or indifferent. Like they're going to show you all the good, all the bad, and all the things you do wrong, but they don't know how to hide it or mask it at all. So it's just like, this is you. So be aware of how you are as an adult. This is how you pass it out to your kids. But I would just say the most rewarding part, man, is just being a parent, man. Honestly, man, like my son changed my life for the better in so many different ways.
Absolutely. And for those that haven't read the book, I got a chance to read a copy of the book, and seeing them go on like this field trip, the students going on a field trip, and kind of like getting to see the different sectors of quote unquote a father, or a parent. I thought that was a very unique approach to displaying how many different things go into being a parent, and especially with Imagine Dad, such a powerful title. I really want to emphasize, how do you hope that this book um, contributes to greater representation? Because we talk about kids nowadays, especially Black and brown children, or children that are in an underserved demographic, that don't get to turn on TV or don't get to pick up a book or a toy and see a reflection or similar to themselves within these different medias. How do you hope that Imagine Dad really helps further the narrative of why it's so important to have examples of our children being able to see themselves or similar aspects within different content and material?
Man, that's a great question, Ty. So thank you for asking. And for me, the goal would really be to spark the idea, right? So if you necessarily can't envision anything that you don't see in your communities, but this book hopefully gives you the idea that this is what a parent or a dad should be like, when it comes to being fun, when it comes to being a hero, when it comes to being a leader, when it comes to caring or how they show care, things of that nature, that the book, all the things that the book talks about. I just wanted to really kind of just bring forth the idea of what it is to be a good ideal dad, right? That's the whole concept of the book. It's like, okay, if I had to build a dad, how would I build him? What would I want to see him have? Do I want to see him goofy? Do I want to see him serious? Do I want to see him loving or patient? Things of that nature. So when at the end of the day, to answer your question, I just hope to spark the idea, or just to have someone have the perspective of like, oh man, dad should be like this, or dad should be like this, or dad should have some of these qualities. So that's
absolutely. And then for you, during this entire process of writing the book up until publishing, did you experience any challenges or obstacles? I know, being an author and trying to juggle the role of a father, a full-time engineer, were there any challenges or obstacles that you had to overcome at all?
I mean, challenges, man. Yes, I would say there's been several challenges along the way, just because of like whether that's finding the right editor, finding the talent to assist you along the way has probably been one of the most challenging things. I'll say it that way. Whether that's editing, whether that's book design, whether that's illustration, all those things that were the challenge. Fortunate enough for me, I was able to find some great resources that I was able to work with, from book design to illustration to editing to all the things that I'm now doing post publishing. But that's kind of been the most challenging thing outside of marketing itself. So people don't tell you that when you get into the world of content creation or creating a product, that your main goal or your main job now becomes marketing, right? To where it's like, yeah, I put out a book, but now you have to market that book. You have to get it out to the world. You have to go and do interviews, such as we're doing today, which I don't mind doing at all. It's actually pretty dope. So thank you for having me, Ty. But people don't tell you that it comes in so many different layers of, hey, now that you did this, now you have to go do X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C, and D, E, and F. So where it's like so many other things that now are ushered into your life because you did one thing. It's phenomenal. I'm loving that people are being, positively receptive to it. People that have read it come up to me, like, oh man, this is a dope book. I have a guy, like I bowl in the league, and I had a guy come up to me at the bowling alley. I don't really know the guy like that, so he just came up to me randomly. He was like, hey man, got your book, man. It was so dope. He wanted to take a picture and everything. So I would say it's the challenging component of it all. To go back to answer your question, which is be finding the right talent.
Absolutely. And then I know we talked about it earlier, many men, especially fathers, struggle with expressing their emotions. I feel like there's this ongoing stigma about mental health in men and men being vulnerable. How do you hope to, or how do you feel that we can break that stigma around men when it comes to being open and discussing mental health?
Good question. And that's a layered question, Ty, that is not solely on men. It's not all internal. There are external factors that go along with that are based on some societal narratives. when it comes to us being more vulnerable or showing more emotions in that capacity. Because if you really think about it, from a traditional sense, quote unquote, men have always been told to, hey man, you gotta be quiet, or for lack of a better term, shut up and provide. Like, we don't want to hear about what your long day. We don't want to hear, oh man, something happened that made you upset today, or something happened that may have made you sad today. Things of that nature. Like, that's not, the norm, so to speak. Not in America, at least, right? To where it would basically mean that society would have to like turn 180 to where, hey, we now want to see you guys vulnerable. We now want to see you guys open up more. We now are accepting of these things that you want to bring to us around being more emotional, being more vulnerable. I think it's just more outside of us as men that we can honestly control.
Absolutely. And then, so now that Imagine Dad is out here in the world, and if you can tell everybody where they can pick up their copy and how they can get their hands, I'm going to show an overlay real quick, but go ahead and let everybody know where they can get their hands on Imagine Dad. And
yeah, well, of course, man. So as you can guys see on the screen, man, you can pick it up on Amazon today, ebook, audiobook, paperback. You can pick it up in Barnes and Noble. You can pick it up pretty much anywhere you can actually buy books today. So, man, if you're out there, you're listening, you're watching, whatever the case may be, please go out, support, get Imagine Dad. More to come. I'm trying to now work with I'm trying to get with a agent that can align me with a traditional publisher so I can produce the other two parts of the series. And I'm also, like, the pinnacle for me is trying to get this thing to adapt into a film. So.
All right. You just segued perfectly into my next question, which you already answered it. But I was going to ask you, now that Imagine Dad is out there for people to purchase, my next question was, do we have any plans for any future books or projects? So you kind of gave us an answer to that question already. But outside of upcoming projects, looking ahead, what kind of legacy overall do you, Aaron Spencer, as an author and a father, want to leave when it comes to your work and that legacy left for your child, for your son?
For my son, man, I just want him to know that he can be whatever he chooses to be in this world. Like, man, I've dabbled into so many entrepreneurial endeavors over the course of years, whether that's in being an animator, whether that's now as an author, whether that's doing something that may be passive as a landlord, things like that. So I've jumped into several different lanes, tried things, liked some things, didn't like other things. So for him, for as far as the legacy goes, primarily I just want him to know, like, hey, whatever you ideally want to do in this world, whatever you put your mind to, go out and go do it, and you can achieve it. I mean, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but overall, if you keep being consistent and persevere over the obstacles and the barriers that you will face, you can achieve anything you want to. It's just anybody, if anyone was ever great at anything, it took them a long time to become that, right? Like Tiger Woods didn't become Tiger Woods by going to the golf course one day. It was a journey, right? Like, Ty, you're working and you're doing what you're doing right now in the broadcasting and media space, and you've probably been doing this for I don't know how many years, and then you still got so many years to go to get probably to where you want to go, right? So
most definitely.
Right. It's just time. It just takes time. So put the effort in, put the work in, let the time accumulate, and then at the end of the day, hopefully your results come to fruition. So far as for me to him, I just want to give him that. But as far as the world, when it comes to Aaron Spencer and the legacy I want to leave behind for everyone, it's just more so like, he was a good dad, man. He was a person that cared about his kid. He was a good dad. He was a good friend. He tried to make relationships and be genuine with everybody he came across. And he was a good dude that also tried to give us something that was creative and positive to the world. So that would be it.
Absolutely. Dropping gems. I call it Tyspiration. So I appreciate that for sure. All right. So let's go ahead and close this out with a quick game of rapid fire. First off, do you have any funny dad jokes?
No, man. Okay. I don't have no dad jokes.
All right. If you could have dinner with any author or celebrity, past or present, who would it be?
Jay-Z.
All right, all right. What is one book besides Imagine Dad, besides your own, that you think every parent should read?
It's a great question, man. I think the Practice in the Journey, I believe it's called, by Thomas Ruder, if I'm not mistaken. That's where the book itself is pretty dope, man. I think that book talks about a lot about the journey of life and not the destination. A lot of people try to look at the destination of where they want to go and not necessarily how to get there. And it just kind of talks about that. I think that's a pretty dope book for people to check out.
I'm gonna most definitely check it out. You said Practicing the Journey?
Yeah, I believe that's it. I could be butchering the name, but it's by Thomas Ruder for sure.
Okay. I am going to I have Practicing the Journey. I'm gonna find it. If not, I might have you send it to me because I'm over here trying to add to the collection of books.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Growing up, did you have a favorite book that you like to read as a child?
Favorite book, man. Not necessarily. Like when I grew up, man, I don't know if they still do this in schools anymore, but we would be forced to like read in school. So I read like The Great Gatsby in school. I read other books in school. I don't necessarily know if I had a favorite per se.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to think back. Like the only thing I can remember is like books in high school and middle school. Like we read like The Catcher in the Rye. I don't know any young.
We read The Outsiders.
Yeah, now I'm thinking back. These questions always have me thinking too. If you could engineer any futuristic invention, what would it be?
Great question. If I could engineer any futuristic invention, it would be the ability to go back in time.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. And then, if you weren't a author or engineer or father, what type of career, role, position would you like to have?
Man, I'll probably go into like world traveling, man. To be honest, like blogging about my travels around the world. Like I love to travel. I do it now. But had I known like you would have things like TikTok and Instagram, like to be where they are today, man, I would have made that a career a long time ago.
For sure. The mood, Tyrik had mentioned the cruise ship. You're mentioning traveling. I think I need a vacation. I think that's the hidden message between these conversations. Aaron, I just want to say thank you so much, and thank you for the work that you're doing in continuing to provide resources and create books and content for fathers and making a truly difference. So I just want to say thank you for joining us tonight. Real quick before you get out of here, I know everybody loves a good giveaway. So if you guys want your chance at winning a copy of Imagine Dad, I was ready. See, I wish I have the digital copy, so I can't hold mine up. But if you guys want a chance, Aaron has been generous enough to give us 2 copies. So just go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. There'll be some more information on the contest details. I have to watch it. I don't know if I'm the giveaway. I'm gonna say giveaway because legalities, and I don't want to get in trouble if I say contest. But I appreciate you, and if you guys want a copy of Aaron's book, we're gonna be giving away some on our social media. So just go ahead and follow us for that. And then, Aaron, before you get out of here, if you can let everybody know where to follow you on social media, where they can connect you, and like you said, Amazon, almost everywhere books are sold, right?
Yeah, of course, man. So yeah, you can connect with me on Aaron Spencer Facebook. Probably find me on Twitter, anywhere you can find me by Aaron Spencer. My Instagram hashtag or the name is ASPEEZ, that's ASPEEZ 3 _. So follow me, man. As Ty already mentioned, buy the book, Imagine Dad, out today. You can cop that today, Amazon, anywhere books are sold, man. Please check it out.
Absolutely, Aaron. Thank you so much again for joining us. We'll be sure to put all of your social medias in the links and descriptions. And looking forward to talking to you about more projects and future books and manifesting all of that greatness to you. So I just want to say thank you again for joining us tonight.
Oh yeah, most definitely, Ty, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Takers, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed today. Hopefully y'all could go get that book for me, man. Man, appreciate you, Ty. I'll see you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you again. That was author Aaron Spencer. Be sure to pick up your copy of Imagine Dad on Amazon and almost everywhere books are sold. We're giving away 2 copies. So if you're feeling lucky and you want to test your luck, we're going to be giving away those copies on our social media. That's going to do it for tonight's episode of this extended edition of Ty's Take Today Live. For those of you that are new to the show and the platform, thank you all so much for joining us. I just want to give a quick thanks to our guest this evening, media personality and journalist Tyrik Wynn, music artist Smoov Jugg, and of course, we just spoke to author Aaron Spencer. Be sure to follow all of our guests on social media, and we'll be sure to post all of their social media links in the description and captions of these videos. Also, if you haven't already, you already know how we close it out each and every time. This episode, of course, as always, is dedicated to my day one, my mom. Continue to keep the prayers going. We appreciate you guys for checking in with me and my family. And I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's so weird. I said this the last episode, and I'm going to continue to say it. It's so weird that she is not in the chat chatting, because she would be making it so clear that she is watching and sharing everything on her Facebook. So shout outs to my mom. I love you, and speedy recovery. And I'm looking forward to being able to show her all of these live interviews and content once she is fully recovered. Like I said, I'm just so grateful. So thank you. My family is grateful. Keep the prayers coming. And before we get out of here, be sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/It's Ty's Take Today. Instagram, of course, as always, @It's Ty's Take Today. And then, of course, if you haven't already, we're continuing to increase our subscribers on YouTube. So go ahead and hit that bell button for notifications. And of course, youtube.com/It's Ty's Take Today. Coming up on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, same time, Facebook and YouTube, we are talking to actor Andre Bellows. We're talking to CEO of Sage Vents, model, fitness trainer, health and wellness director of Project Briggs Inc., Shane Greer. So Shane Greer and Andre Bellows, that is happening on Sunday. That's going to do it for tonight's episode. Like I said, go right there and subscribe, YouTube. And thank you all to my guests tonight. Thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you guys right back here on Sunday.